So we're gonna do a bonus tip. The bonus tip is to upgrade your, can you guess it? I'm gonna say that maybe someone will guess it in the comments down below in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi lovelies, it's Jess and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm gonna share with you 5 little easy habits for a better year, for a better 2021. And I'm basically gonna share with you different ways that you can essentially upgrade your life. But one thing that I really want you to take from this video is to be mindful of all of the trending topics that we are seeing online around this time of year about kickstarting your new year, making this your best year yet, achieving your New Year's resolutions and slaying life. And we're all gonna start getting up at 5 a.m. and we're gonna do biohacking and we're just gonna be like our absolute best selves. And basically for this video, I want it to be grounded in authenticity and helping to guide you in figuring out what kind of life you want going forward and sharing different ways that you can implement some positive changes. So also before we get into this video, I just want to say a big thank you to Reflectly. They are the world's first journaling app, and I'm going to talk more about them in a little bit because they are one little thing I've been adding to my daily or morning routine that has definitely helped me to make my 2021 more positive. So I'll get into that shortly, but let's get straight into this week's video. Now, the first thing I want to talk to you about when it comes to upgrading your life for 2021, I want to talk about upgrading yourself. And this really ties in with self-development. So as you know, I'm a total self-development junkie, and there's lots of different ways that you can work on yourself. This is probably the most substantial part of this video, the most important. When you think about how to upgrade your life, it definitely starts with focusing on yourself and that journey of self-development. And honestly, once you start your journey of self-development, it doesn't stop. It's not really like you just untangle yourself and you become your most loving, centered, happy self and then you never have any challenges ever again, because life is dynamic. But essentially it's about acquiring more tools to navigate through your journey of life and being more confident in yourself, being more clear on what's important to you and living an authentic life, living a life in alignment with your core values. So self-development looks different for everyone, and I am not about to say that you have to start listening to certain podcasts or see a psychologist or read certain books or do particular kind of work on yourself. It's actually about what works for you and what you feel called to do. And I've really learned this when I look at my husband Adam, or I look at some of my friends and the sort of things that they do for themselves and where their aha moments or moments of enlightenment come from. It's not necessarily the same ways that I come to those stages in my life. So for me, ways that I like to work on myself include different podcasts, reading certain books, journaling, seeing a psychologist, having a life coach. Some of my favorite go-to people, if you're interested, whom I've probably shared a fair bit about on this channel, Gabrielle Bernstein, Marissa Peer. Please, if you struggle with perfectionism, not feeling enough, low self-confidence, please go check out Marissa Peer. I love her work and she has just been honestly life-changing. I did her online course and it was fantastic. Who else? Podcasts like Almost 30 or On Purpose by Jay Shetty. There's a lot of different things that I do. So speaking of things that I do for myself when upgrading my life for 2021, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Reflectly here. So they are the world's first journaling app, and I'm so excited to partner with them today because, as you know, I am very passionate about mental health and I just love this app. So essentially it allows me to track my thoughts and feelings, and it supports me on my self-love and mindfulness practice. And I personally like to use it first thing in the morning just to do a little mood check-in. But you could use the app at any time of the day, whenever you're feeling like you need to vent, get something off your chest, or just check in with yourself. So I think having a regular journaling and self-check-in practice is really important because it helps you to disarm your thoughts and also you gain more clarity and awareness. And being able to vent without judgment is really important for getting things off your chest. Personally, I often, actually always find that when I journal, I have really important insights and breakthroughs. And one of my favorite features on the app is that it actually supplies me with motivational quotes. As you know, I love quotes, so I can actually save my favorite ones if I tap the little love heart at the bottom right-hand corner on the screen. So I like that it asks you what sort of activities are contributing to your mood. So for me, today I'm feeling super awesome because of definitely work, health, and sleep over here. And then when I click continue, it also says how you're feeling about this. So for me, I'm feeling really grateful. So I'm gonna click blessed. And then when I continue over, I can add a little title, and then underneath the section that says add some notes, or in the section that says add some notes, that's where you can do your whole brain dump, journaling. I personally like to write down things that I'm grateful for or intentions for the day, because I like to set myself an intention in the morning. And if there is anything on my mind, then that's where I do my whole free-flowing journaling exercise. So I definitely think this is going to be my new on-the-go journal for 2021. And the other thing I forgot to mention is it is AI driven. So the more that you use it, the more it adapts to you and it becomes more relevant. So if you haven't checked them out already and you want to, click the link below and you can download Reflectly on your phone and we can be journaling buddies. Now, the next little way to upgrade your life this year is to upgrade your cooking skills. And I don't want you to feel disheartened if you're not particularly confident in the kitchen, because there's so many ways to improve just with little steps. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, and I'm not suggesting that you need to be like the world's next master chef here, but Adam and I grew up in very food-oriented kind of households. So we were always getting together, but the focus was around the food. And you know, I definitely think that I watched a lot of cooking shows, but we have cookbooks at home. And I just think that when you feel more confident in the kitchen, you just feel more confident about yourself in general. And also you eat healthier. You're more mindful of the sort of food you put in your body or the food that you want to buy and then cook with. And it's a really great way to save some money too, rather than eating out all the time. But honestly, every time any of my friends have considered moving out of home, and even when I was initially moving out of home, that was the one thing that was really daunting, was how am I going to cook for myself? So I really encourage you to focus on upgrading your cooking skills this year. And some of my favorite ways to learn new recipes or dishes, Yotam Ottolenghi is one of my favorite chefs to follow, definitely on Instagram as well. But his book, Simple, basically every recipe in that book is delicious but simple, and I think 5 ingredients or less. So definitely check that one out. I actually bought Adam the new book called Flavors, and it just looks so good. So I'm waiting for Adam to get into the kitchen and make some of the recipes or recreate them from that book. Also, we watch quite a few cooking shows, so Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat on Netflix. Comment down below if you've watched that already. Baking with Babish on YouTube, he loves that. And we also have watched, it's called 4 Levels. Let me know if you've seen that on YouTube as well. So they have 3 different chefs and you get to see the more basic chef and then someone that's a bit more competent and then the professional chef. So that's a really good show to look at if you're looking for like more simple ways of making different recipes rather than the more complex or sophisticated version. Now, the third way to upgrade your life, I want to talk to you about upgrading your morning routine. Now, if you want to see an updated 2021 morning routine, let me know in the comments down below, because my morning routine, it changes all the time. I'm constantly changing it to suit my needs. So again, let me just flag that everyone's morning routine is going to look different, and that's because we all have different needs and different preferences. But for me, I would say just a couple of tips actually that I want to add in here, and the things that work for me. I would say avoiding being on your phone or social media for the first 30 minutes. The reason that that's actually really important, and I learned this recently, is that when you first wake up, your brain waves, and I don't know which ones are for alpha, theta, delta, I don't know which ones happen when, so I've got to research that. But basically, your brain waves change more rapidly or abruptly when you hop onto social media and jump into work mode versus waking up gradually, making a tea, playing with a pet, and easing into your day. And that's actually detrimental to your focus and your health. So you want to allow your brain to wake up in its own time and not just immediately flood it with additional stimuli. Another thing I would suggest, if you want more tips on having an optimal morning routine, I do have some videos on that. So I will try and remember to leave them as clickable cards up above over here again. But another thing I would suggest is doing something that's gonna help you to start your day off on the right track and elevate your mood. For me, it is definitely journaling, but it's also playing with my dog Winston and having cuddles in the bed. The other day, it was so funny because I grew up in a household where dogs were not allowed in the house. Like, it was not a thing. And also my sister has allergies to dogs, so I think that played a big role. But I actually tucked Winston underneath the covers and he was in between Adam and myself, and it was just so cute and it made my day, and I'm even smiling now as I reflect on that memory. So just doing things that are gonna elevate your mood so you can carry that through for the rest of the day. Next, I wanna talk to you about upgrading your mind, because we've talked about upgrading yourself, your cooking skills, your morning routine, and next up is your mind. Now in 2020, I spent a lot of time learning more about my finances, my spending and savings habits, and how to actually save in a really smart way. So using SMART goals, but applying that to my financial life. And I spent a lot of time going through my finances, making Excel spreadsheets, and getting really on top of my spending and savings habits. And I honestly felt so much more in control of my life, and I highly recommend you do the same. But basically, this category of upgrading your life is not to say that you have to educate yourself on finances, though I recommend it, but really just choosing one thing at least that you want to learn about purely for the sake of learning, purely because it interests you. Now this year, I've spent a lot of time learning about female health, female hormonal health. It is essentially something that I did not learn at all growing up, and it is such a shame that we aren't educated on our bodies enough. But I've been reading books, listening to podcasts, using female cycle apps on my phone to get to know my cycle better, and it's purely something I'm doing for myself. And if you follow me on Instagram at Study with Jess, you might have seen a recent IG story where I actually showed you a notebook where I was writing down all these different notes from a book called In the Flow, which is all about female health as well. So I was taking notes in a very diligent way, very Study with Jess style. But I really recommend you to think about one thing that you want to learn more about and just do it for yourself, not because you're being forced to study it or you're being graded on it. It's simply to expand your horizons, expand your knowledge. Now, the fifth one, I'm actually going to add in a little bonus tip after this. So it's not the last way to upgrade your life, but the fifth way to upgrade your life in 2021 is to upgrade your fitness routine. Now, last year, I started to do more reformer Pilates, and then my state went into an extended lockdown. So I ended up taking up Pilates at home, so mat Pilates, and I noticed a significant boost in my overall energy, focus, mental health, fitness, cardio, stamina, muscle tone, everything. So it's a really nice idea to think about any new forms of exercise that you want to integrate into your exercise routine. I love doing yoga and I'm not stopping that anytime soon, but I do plan on doing more daily walks, longer walks, and also Pilates this year. And I just think it's important to move your body in different ways because each form of exercise utilizes or encourages you to work on different muscles, different joints, and I think that a combination works really well, or at least does for me. So I encourage you to do the same. Now on to the bonus tip. I love when I'm watching videos on YouTube and someone's like, and a bonus tip. So we're gonna do a bonus tip. The bonus tip is to upgrade your, can you guess it? I'm gonna say that maybe someone will guess it in the comments down below in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's to upgrade your downtime. By that, I mean who uses their spare time to mindlessly, just reach for your phone and then go on social media. I've done it way too many times. My screen time is sometimes horrendous when I actually find out how much time I spent on Instagram and Facebook. It's not great. So I encourage you to make a list of all the things that you can do in your downtime that do not require you to be on your phone. And that could be going for a walk. You could list your hobbies and creative outlets. It could be calling a friend. I know that's using your phone, but you're not really directing your attention at your device, it's more to the person on the other line. So think about all the different things, and you could even tidy the apartment, make use of your time in that sense, or do your homework. But I really think it's important to be mindful of how much we're using our devices and realize that the devices are actually just stealing us away from our real life. And unless you are consciously choosing what you are consuming and it's adding value, hopefully like this YouTube video, then it's important to actually have some really healthy boundaries and be more mindful of your digital consumption, especially going into this new year. Now, I also just wanted to briefly touch on this idea of creating or forming new habits. Now, I don't expect that you're gonna finish this video and think, cool, I'm gonna start doing all of these things immediately and it's gonna feel like second nature. It's gonna just happen and I'm gonna be motivated to journal every morning and I'm never gonna miss a day, or I'm gonna start exercising more. It's fantastic to set the intentions, but it's also important to just be realistic and know that habits take time to be set in stone. And they say that it can take up to 66 days for a habit to feel like it's second nature, and you don't have to consciously put effort in, it just kind of happens, like reaching for your phone. So you might want to set yourself some reminders on your phone or set alarms, and that way you're holding yourself more accountable so you don't forget, because it's really easy. You start your day, things happen, and then before you know it, you forgot to work out. So I really like using reminders, alarms, like I've said in a previous video, scheduling in all of my yoga classes on a Sunday and then writing it in my diary. And one other handy tip, and I learnt this when I was studying psychology many years ago, because I'm getting old here. No, I'm not, I'm young at heart. But one thing that I learned when it comes to creating new habits is to rely on different visual cues. So if you want to be working out more, leave your runners at the door. Or if you want to be eating healthy, stick a little note on the fridge that has some healthy meal ideas so that you can consult that list every time you're hungry. And those kind of things really do work. So comment below, what is one way that you plan to upgrade your lifestyle so that it is more supportive, nurturing, and inching you closer towards the kind of life that you really want to be living for yourself, one that is aligned with your core values and feels right or authentic for you. And if you haven't already checked out Reflectly, the app, I will leave it as a clickable link down below, so click it and check it out and let me know what you think of it. And otherwise, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all next week with another video. Mwah! Bye!